What is up, Retro Maniacs? My name is Mike. His name's Joe. His name's EP, and we're here to talk about cards. Today, we're going to give you 5 ways that breakers can earn our trust. We're not the biggest breakers in the world, although I partake every now and then.
You have partaken, yes.
And, you know, it is a lot of fun to get into a break, hope to get something. It's the same kind of thrill you get by pulling the arm on a slot machine, you know, taking that hit on the blackjack table. But I digress. These are going to be the ways that you, Mr. Breaker, can earn our business. Number 1, I think we're all in agreement on this: product knowledge. I do understand that maybe you break some products here and there that maybe customers ask for that you aren't all that knowledgeable about, but do a little bit of research on stuff. Watching wrestling breaks, let me tell you, I can tell the people who watch wrestling and the people who have never watched wrestling in their entire life. They don't know the names. They don't know how to say any of the names. I know, EP, you've seen it with Pokemon breaks, that they don't know any of the characters. I'm not saying people have to know every way to say every name, but if you don't know any of them, there's a problem.
Yeah, apparently if it's not Stone Cold Steve Austin or Hulk Hogan, they have no clue who they are.
Bad.
So to that point, I've watched 2000 Bowman breaks. Like, someone bought a case of 2000 Bowman football, searching for Tom Brady rookies, and Tim Biakabatuga was my favorite to try and hear them muddle through.
That's bad.
I was watching the Galactic Empire stuff, or Galactic Antiquity Star Wars stuff, on Leighton, and you could tell there were a lot of not Star Wars fans breaking for Leighton. I mean, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, and I wouldn't feel comfortable breaking it. So maybe ask someone there, or maybe schedule the break, because there are I know there's a couple of Star Wars fans that work for Leighton. So I'm like, maybe wait to break when they're working. I don't know. And as Fanatics starts, introducing more comic book, Marvel and Disney style stuff, you're going to see a lot of breakers struggling with that. Not only, though, the content of the IP that they're breaking, but also maybe be knowledgeable about the product you're breaking. Maybe know how many, at a minimum, know how many autos you're getting out of a box, know what the different parallels are called. There are so many people that are like, oh, this is something, and move on. I'm like, well, no, what is it? I mean, I'd be interested in knowing that. So there's a lot of that too, where it's not just not knowing the characters or not knowing the athlete, but not actually even knowing the product. And that's like such a bare minimum to me. And one of the reasons I don't want to do a break of Game of Thrones, our Rittenhouse little hookup that I have, I could get Game of Thrones stuff. And I'm like, I would need EP to actually be there. So I'll know what's in the boxes. I don't know who will be in the boxes. So I mean, maybe the two of us together, EP, would work out. But yeah, just know your product and know the contents of that stuff.
Yeah, I'm just like going to add on here, because all great points. Like like you should know, even just thinking about it in terms of profiting on it too. Like, know what the parallels are, know what the insert names are, know what the odds of these parallels and stuff are. So when there's a big pull, so you can make a big deal out of it. And knowing the names. Look, we know there's a lot of modern stuff that has a lot of older players and stuff in it. Like Joe said, if you are a big breaking house, have people who know if it's a football product, have the football guy break the football stuff, and have the Star Wars guy break the Star Wars stuff. For individuals, do your best and try to at least you can't be fumbling through the entire break. There might be listen. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I can't pronounce all the names. I know some Pokemon characters. I can't pronounce all the names, but do your best. If you mess a couple up, that's fine. Have some fun with it, but have some general knowledge about what you're breaking, what you're dealing with.
Imagine that general knowledge about what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, number 2 on our list, we decided on transparency. This is kind of an overarching thing here, but multiple camera views. We don't want the card to ever be out of view. Have the replays available. This is really important to me because I do not like to sit through a whole live break. I just don't have time in my life to hang out with people waiting for the break to start and then go through the case. If it's a couple cases, it just takes too long. I like to watch it later in the background to see what's going on. So have that there. And I'll add too, like, have a verifiable randomizer that you're using if you have to do any of that stuff. So just so people know you're on the up and up, just be honest about what's going on.
Yeah, like we had a breaker, and we're not anti-breaker, by the way. Like I've thought about getting into breaks. Mike's gotten into breaks. We've had a breaker on our channel to talk about his card collection, So, and I wanted to give kudos to Dane from Dynasty Breaks, because he's very cognizant of not taking cards off the screen. Like even if it's like a booklet card, that he moves the cards over so he can still open up the booklet, that it's not hiding the other. Like that's what I'm looking for out of a breaker. And for as much as I watch breaks, I have never watched a live break. I've never watched a live break. I like to have them in the background. They're great background noise if you're doing other card stuff. And if I got into a break, chances are I'm not going to sit there, because waiting for the break to get filled up can take a while. Waiting to get through other products because they're coming behind, falling behind, can take a while. So yeah, have those available. And any sort of randomizer you're using, if it's whatever, just make sure it's something that it's not like the breaker's name randomizer.com. Like let's make sure it's like a legitimate randomizer that you can show results and then keep those results saved somehow. Because, again, you're trying to earn, as potential customers, you're trying to earn our trust.
Yeah, that's the bottom line, right? Be beyond reproach. You want to make sure that nobody has any question about what you're doing. And I realize that, in most cases, you shouldn't have to do that. But this hobby, there's so many examples. Luckily, we've seen some examples of bad breakers, but I feel like I hope that is like these people are the minority in the breaking space. And I realize that there are places where there are certain platforms which allow it to happen more often. I'm not going to say the name out loud.
Whatnot. Right? You're talking
Whatnot. I'm talking about Whatnot. Yeah, of course. Yep. Whatnot. Like they allow in some cases, like not posting videos of the breaks. Like they are actively like allowing it to happen. And so this is the kind of thing where if you if you want to be a good breaker, just make sure you are doing things that would never lead to any questions. Like Joe said, just take that out of the equation and just always keep the cards on the screen.
I want to make a quick point about the Whatnot thing, though. Someone did push back when we talked about Whatnot having the videos available, and someone pushed back in the comments and said something to the effect of, if you buy into the break, you can have access to those videos somehow. Okay, that's good for the customers you have, but you need to prove to new customers that you're not doing something shady. So if I can't go and look and see how you break, I'm not going to break with you. I kind of want to be able to do that. So I don't think that's a good enough excuse. Like, post them so that everyone can go and see them. And I'm like, oh, you know what? They are a good breaker. I'm going to break with them going forward because I see that they do everything right.
Okay. Number 3 should be kind of simple. Sounds kind of boring, but shipping. Ship all the cards, ship the right cards, and ship them safely in a timely manner. Like, this should not be a big problem. Some people struggle with it more than others. I've had a situation where there were only 6 cards in a break and I got the wrong one. Yeah, it happens. I understand people make mistakes, but just ship the cards. That's the big thing. A lot of people get into breaks because they do like a certain team, and if you don't get anything at all, it kind of stings a little bit. So I also like a breaker that'll throw in a pack or something if you got skunked in your break. But yeah, it's simple, but just ship well.
I think we all pride ourselves through eBay, through Stack sales, through any Twitter sales, whatever, of how we ship. Like, there is no better compliment that I get. I'll have people DM me on Twitter or comment on eBay. best shipping I've ever gotten. I really appreciate it. So just do that. I mean, it's not that hard, and you should be doing it anyway. You kind of want the cards to show up safe. The thing I was thinking about with shipping is actually a friend of the channel, Finstone Cards, who had sent me that Kenny Pickett jersey. He actually had a situation on Whatnot where a guy just didn't ship one of the cards, and he's like, "Oh, it probably was in one of the other stacks, and you were the last one I packed." So, and he's like, "That's not a good enough
No.
that's not a good enough answer."
Yeah, gotta fix that.
Right. Yeah. And he didn't ship. He sent this message, and he got it on Sunday. And Finstone was like, "But you didn't. It's Sunday. You didn't ship these yet." So
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're just go through them.
Break those open, yes.
Open those up. I know it sucks, but you're running a business here, so find my card, and that is not unreasonable, and it's ridiculous that you even have to say that. You had that situation, Mike, with Leaf product, I believe, a wrestling card product. So yeah, ship well, ship right, and ship quickly. I mean, if you're waiting for cards, especially in this market, is volatile. If you want to get that color wheel of Caleb Williams out quick, or something with Caitlin Clark before the season starts, or Paul Skeens or something like that, you want those cards sooner than a month from now. They should be shipping multiple times a week.
Yeah, I mean, for some of these people, they're doing it as a side hustle, right? But it's still, if you want to have customers, like long-term customers, like we talk about this all the time. It seems like every list we do about this kind of stuff, we're always talking about shipping, because again, like Joe said, we pride ourselves in the shipping. Like that is an important thing, an important part of the experience for the customers. And if you want people coming back, you have to do that. I pride myself. That's why I think I get a lot of return customers on my eBay store, because of the shipping. And if you're not, and I ship next business day, like every time. And I feel like if you make that promise on your break, get it shipped out. And if something happens where you need to break everything out and repack everything, well, then you need to do that, and also get it shipped timely.
That's on you as a seller.
You have to be responsible with this stuff.
I've made mistakes in my stack sales, and I'm happy when I realize that I didn't send that package out yet, that I can rip it open and fix the problem. So, all right, number 4 on the list. Again, seems simple, but pricing. People aren't dumb. We can add up what you're selling your spots for and know what a box costs. And if you're like 3-4x, come on. I understand you're doing it as a business. You're doing it to make a profit. Totally fine with that. That's how it goes. That's how I choose to do that when I'm buying into your break. But if you're really ripping people off with what you're charging for stuff, I'm not even looking at you. And I will say, I've a number of times seen on Twitter where people are calling out different breakers that are like really, really trying to like get the last, like really screw people over with what they're charging for stuff. Just make a decent profit, but don't rip people off.
Yeah, like when we did the Cheers thing, which I'm kind of surprised you didn't say, I bought into a Cheers break and I still haven't received my cards.
I have not. I didn't want to bring it up. I was going to save that to the end. Yeah.
Okay. But like I did it at cost because I'm not running a business, right? I did it at cost plus shipping, whatever it was. But the amount of people that think breakers are their friends cracks me up. They are not. They are running a business. They're trying to make a profit off of you. You just have to be a vigilant buyer sometimes. I'm going to flip it a little bit. You have to be a vigilant buyer and do what Mike was just saying. Like, see if they are gouging you. And I'll tell you, as someone who's a potential buyer, if I see that you are charging that 3 to 4 times what the cost of a box is, I'd like to know what your overhead is that you need to do that. Like it's crazy, but it's all this like easy shell game that they can do, because like, well, if we break it out into like 32 spots and they're different prices for different teams and this and that. And I mean, maybe I can confuse folks. And Mike, you started this off by saying, we're not stupid. We may not, and our viewers aren't, because they're the best viewers in the business, but a lot of people are, and a lot of people just buy because they get addicted to it, and they don't have the wherewithal to realize they're getting screwed over.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not 100%, I'm talking about my butt on this a little bit, but I know with Mike, when you were, when you sold boxes back at the shop, like you got a very slim margin on those boxes. And I
Yes,
feel like for
very slim.
breakers, that is how it should be as well. Like there should be a very slim margin on your breaks. With the breakers that make money on it are doing it at volume, right? Like that is where you're going to make a decent amount of money. I feel like the people that go 3 or 4x like that, those are bad eggs in the hobby. Maybe they just don't understand how it is. But I think a little side thing is for shipping price too. Like don't overcharge for shipping. Like that's something to keep in mind as well.
All right, our final way that breakers can earn our trust. This is a very important one. Act professional. Be professional. I'm not saying you can't have fun. Absolutely have fun. If you want to be crazy, be crazy. But you can also be professional. Don't lose the professionalism. Don't just throw stuff out there. Put your shirt on to them. Just do that. I will draw the line in the shirt. Yeah, I watched this guy do a Cheers break, and wow, he took his shirt off.
Can you imagine?
I kid. But yes, just by all means, you can have fun and still be professional. That's what the good breakers do. They're entertaining, they captivate you, and they're also professional. Just do what you want, find your niche, whatever you need to do, but always be professional.
The amount of nipples that I have seen in this hobby for no reason is wild. It's absolutely wild. I think the shirts thing is few and far between. Luckily, I think it's just amplified because Sports Card Radio shows us all of them.
Of course, absolutely.
But to the greater point, I mean, we talked about 4 other things, and we could have done a list of like probably 10 things, but we did 4 other things, and I think they all wrap into this. Like the professionalism has to be there, and like Mike said, like again, Dane, the folks at Layton, they have fun with it. They joke around a lot. They have certain customers that they know what they like, so they'll joke around about that a little bit, and that's great. But at the end of the day, you shouldn't be saying weird shit. Like that's number one. Like don't say weird shit. Don't say anything that you might lose your account over. Like that should be the best.
You won't on what
you won't. You'll get just
say whatever you want if you're breaking
on
whatnot.
Yeah, you'll get a little slap on the wrist that no one will really pay attention to. But like just overall professionalism in anything you do, because again, at the end of the day, breaking is a business. Like it's a business that you own and you run and you're part of. And if you're unprofessional, that's going to be the first thing that if I see you do some weird shit, probably not going to break with you. If I need to like if the cringe meter goes to a certain level that I can't even fathom watching you, I'm not going to break with you,
In theory, these new breakers especially are like they're looking to get into this and to continue to do it, right? And so just being professional is going to lead more people to return and do more breaks with you. Like that's the bottom line. We talked about some specific examples of some specific breakers doing very weird things. And I like to agree that they're hopefully few and far between. But if you're doing that kind of stuff, we're not going to break with you. Like we're just not going to do it. Like it's just not there.
And the moral of this story is you see a lot of stuff about breakers doing shady stuff, and there are a lot of them out there. Most of them are on Whatnot, let's be honest. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of good breakers out there. So if you're interested in breaking, you haven't gotten into a break, just do some research. Find the people that are good at this. Find the people that aren't going to rip you off. Find the people that are going to give you a deal. Find the people that you really should be breaking with, because there's a lot of them out there. They do a good job. Find those people. Don't let the bad people, just like a lot of other stuff in the hobby, you see the negative and stuff all the time. You see all the shady stuff that goes on, but not all breakers are that way. There are a lot of good ones out there. Find them, and when you do this, you'll have a lot more enjoyable experience. Trust me, I don't do very well when I go on breaks. I have the worst luck in the world, but I still enjoy it when I decide to do it because I like the people I'm breaking with, and that means a lot. If you like the
Mhm.
people that you're breaking with, you trust them, even if you lose, it doesn't feel quite as bad.
Doesn't feel if
Doesn't
that
feel
dealer
quite as
is
bad.
fun, I
Yeah,
don't mind dropping a couple hands of blackjack.
absolutely. All right, guys, that was a lot of fun. I'll see you next week. Take care, guys.
See you, boys.
See ya.